Yo boys, back with another video. Today we're going to be doing a good old-fashioned 3v3 tier list. Now this is after the buffs and the nerfs. For example, Demon Warlock, Destro, Arcane, they all got massive buffs. Even Assassination got a 4% buff, so it'll probably be the best rogue spec. But there are some things that got nerfed. Arms Warrior, Fury Warrior. Now, honestly, when I was doing this list, I don't know how, like which is gonna be which. Again, we still have a few days until we have till Tuesday pretty much. Um, I'm not really that hyped for this season, to be honest. I think the last season was a letdown and it kind of ruined it. Like I literally needed an entire break off WoW. It just, I think a lot of people did. They were just gassed out. So again, I'm gonna go through this as quickly as I can. We're trying to be as good as I can. Again, I can't we don't know what the gear's gonna be like. We know that they did stamina buffs. We saw what they're doing. I don't think they've done anything with the rating or MMR, so the game again will just die out. Like it's just how WoW is. If they don't, they have to actually do the main issues of the game, which is the system itself. So again, I don't really have too much faith in WoW, but I am gonna be doing this tier list here. So let's start off with. The first one we're going off with is going to be Affy Warlock, easily A tier. In this type of meta now, it's going to be heavy, heavy, heavy casters. We're talking big burst, unhealable damage. Affy, for now, is not S tier. I don't know enough information to say if it's not. Honestly, personally, for now, I honestly still believe it's S tier. I think Affys are just broken. They take 0 skill to play, and they're really good with like every comp. Feral, Affy Assassination Rogue is gonna be good. You'll see almost that every game. So, and Affy didn't really get a nerf, so I don't know why. I saw Supatice's video, and he was putting sub rogue at like S tier. It just doesn't make sense. Um, and obviously sub rogue did get nerfed. Surprise, surprise. The next one we have is Destro Warlock, easily going to be A tier. Even after the buffs, it's still going to struggle. You're still going to see a lot of Shamans. And it's just going to be really hard to get off bolts, but you do have a lot of extra dam now. Like it's no longer you're just casting bullets. You're hitting when you cast, if you actually get precog, you're going to absolutely destroy. So Assassination Destro is going to be really really good. Feral Destro, I'd say just Assassin Destro is going to be insanely OP. Same thing with like Outlaw Rogue as well, like with the Destro, just really strong. Demo is in the same position. It even got buffed as well. And honestly, Demo may be better than Destro just because now it's going to have unhealable burst damage and it's going to have peeling. It's going to be super tanky. It's going to be a really good spec. The only reason I don't put it at S tier is it's reasonable burst. So it's not like they're just gonna one shot. They're still gonna, they're gonna struggle like everyone else, but they're gonna have way more damage. So, they're gonna be, instead of it being bad, both of these are gonna be really good. The next one we have is Arcane Mage, easily S tier. It got a massive buff, 12% on barrage and missiles. That is a massive buff. They're gonna be pumping. So if you're looking to play Arcane Mage, this is kind of your time to shine. Now, I don't know how long it's gonna last. But as of now, Hunter, Arcane Mage, both of those are just going to be insanely OP and really strong. So, I definitely want to play Arcane. I don't really like Arcane because it's like, if you get kicked on like anything, it's like you literally can't play the game, and it feels like it's so hard to face Shamans as an Arcane Mage. But, I definitely give it a shot. The next one we have is Fire Mage, absolutely positively garbage. They actually ended up nerfing Fire Mage, by the way. It was obviously on their shields, just like Frost Mage. But it's just ironic that one of the worst classes and specs in the game has been bad for almost 2 expansions now. Is diabolical. Unfortunately, Fire Mage still absolutely garbage. The next one we have is going to be Assassination Rogue. Again, an S tier spec. After the buff, it was already getting to the closeness of S tier. Now with that 4% extra buff on all abilities, it's definitely going straight up. Now, I wouldn't say it's going to be better than Arcane. Arcane's going to be one of the best specs in the game because of the damage it's going to be pulling. But Assassination is very close. It's definitely S tier, just like Affy. They're all just going to do a ton of damage. And the reason Affy is S tier still, it just does like unhealable amounts of damage. And it's always good. Unless it gets absolutely butchered, it's just always going to be best in slot. You'll see Affys almost every other game. They're still going to be popular. Obviously, melees are a little bit overtuned at the moment, so that's why you may not see as much casters. But I promise you, now that the tunings came in, you're going to see a lot more affys and casters. It was just at the start, the melees were one-shotting and making it literally unplayable for everyone else. Obviously, that's gotten situated. The next one we have is going to be Frost DK. Again, another S tier spec. Frost DKs are super OP. They do a ton of burst damage. It's like a Windwalker with CC. Like, they're a very scary class, and I don't believe they got nerfed, so I would honestly put them right beside Arcane. They're going to be absolutely positively insane. Like, you're going to see a lot of Frost DKs. We saw that in Season 1. We were seeing Frost DKs a lot. Now you're going to be seeing them a lot more. I mean, they're really, really strong. Especially, like, with a Windwalker. Like, Windwalkers are all off the chart damage-wise as well. Now, I think they got nerfed on their one-shot, so I don't know if I'm going to be putting them at S tier now. But I think their overall burst is still OP, and it's going to be insanely good. So, we'll see where I put Windwalker. I'm pretty sure it's S tier, at least low S at that. But we'll see. The next one we have is going to be Arms Warrior. Arms Warrior is kind of in the same position. Even with the nerf, I still believe Arms and Fury is going to be good. Now, I will say, they're not going to be as good, but they are going to be good. Now, they did get a massive nerf. They really did need the nerf, but they're still going to be getting a massive execute damage. They got 20% buff on execute, so you're going to be seeing some massive execute damage. So I still believe they're still going to be viable. You're still going to see them even after the nerf. I don't believe they're going to be S tier anymore, but they are going to be still good. You'll still see them, and they're still, even with the I think it's like the Abolish or something. They're one shot. It did get nerfed. Now they still do a lot of damage with it. Like I'm pretty sure they can hit like 1 mils with it. Or once we have gear and stuff, that'll change. Obviously, you can't really base it off of right now because we don't have the stand buffs and we don't have the new gear. Once we have new gear, you'll see that it's just people are like, bro, this class is so broken, and we're in last season gear. Like it doesn't make any sense. Stop. Like I know your IQ is small, but just you have to wait until the season releases to actually understand. Once we have green gear, and then you're supposed to do your nerfs and buffs after we have green gear. Otherwise, you're just gonna butcher a class, and it's not gonna be playable. It's like it's just so low of IQ from Blizzard. It's insane, but oh well. The next one we have is going to be Dev Evoker, another insane spec. Absolutely insanity. Frost DK Dev Evoker is going to be one of the best comps in the game. It's going to do a ton of damage. You're talking about unhealable damage the entire game. It's going to be a lot of damage from a Dev Evoker. The good thing about Dev Evoker is they counter all bleeds. So they counter Assassination Rogues, Feral Druids, and that's great. That's a good thing for them. They counter literally every bleed spec, so, what's not to love about Dev Evokers? The next one we have is going to be Prez Evoker. Prez Evoker is going to be in the same position as it always in. At first, Mistweavers were way better, and the reason for that is they were having a one-shot ability that got absolutely butchered on top of they got nerfed by 4%. So they're no longer what they used to be. Obviously, they're just back to normal. So they're probably like around A tier. So just keep this in mind. This is after all the nerfs are in. So they're not going to be anywhere near as, OP as they were. Now, it's pretty much the same healers as it was. Actually, Wrestle Shaman is a little bit better now, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it's S tier, but I know it's definitely better than Mistweaver now. The next one we have is going to be Fury Warrior. Kind of in the same position. I'd put Arms in front of it still, just by a little bit. I think Arms is going to be overall stronger. But Fury's just behind. Again, they both got, like, nerfed really bad, but I still think they're going to be pumping a lot. You're still going to see Warriors. They're still popular. Now, I don't think they're as strong as an S tier spec anymore, so that's the good news. Like, you're not going to see them 100-0ing everybody anymore. That's going to be like a Frost DK or an Arcane Mage or any S tier spec that already does that. So, still really good, though. Do I believe it's going to be better than Destro? I don't know, but I think, I mean, you gotta understand, Destro got buffed by 20% plus. On Chaos Bolts, like their Inferno got 35%. Demo got 20% on everything. Like, you're talking a lot of damage. So while these guys, remember how these guys got buffed by 15 to 20% and they instantly were S tier? That's what's gonna happen to these guys, but I don't know enough information about them to just put them there. Until I've seen it, I can't really say. So again, these two specs are going to be very strong, and they may even be stronger. However, based off what I've known, I know Demo's going to be stronger. Just for a fact. Demo's going to be insanely good. Just keep this in mind. I know people hate Demo Warlocks, but I promise you, you're gonna be, bro, this spec is broken. Okay, the next one we're going with, Hunter. Insanely OP. Very, very strong. If I had to put it somewhere legitimately on this list, it's gonna be probably around here. Hunters are doing I watched Naj do it, and they do a ton of damage. You're talking now. Their defensive capabilities are not the greatest. A BM Hunter is going to be overall as good as a Hunter, because obviously BM Hunters got buffed by 10% on every ability and their pets. So obviously BM Hunters are also going to be S tier coming up. But yeah, is still really good. It's doing a lot of damage. If you're looking to play Hunter, now's the time. It's doing a lot of damage. It's a lot, but you're going to see a lot more Hunters than you usually see. For now, obviously, until they get nerfed. The next one we have is going to be Elemental Shaman. Ellie is still really, really strong. Honestly, I still believe that it's very strong. For now, I'm going to put it behind Demo now that Demo got a massive buff. But even after the nerfs, Ellie's still one-shots. Like, I've seen Naj face it, and they're still doing unhealable damage. So I don't know why everyone's coping and they're putting like Ellie at like C tier. Ellie's still really, really good. It still does a lot of damage. Now it might not one-shot the entire team when you click Primordial Wave, but you're still doing a lot of damage. You're able to easily top charts. It's not hard. Like, you're still an OP spec. You're just no longer the best spec in the game, and that's the difference. People cry so hard when a spec just gets nerfed, and they're like, "Oh, it's unplayable. It's unplayable." Just like Sub Rogue. Sub Rogue's still playable, but like that's the difference in between. You're talking about a spec that does no damage versus a spec that can top charts. But let's go with the next one here. The next one we have is going to be Boomy. Boomy is a very, very strong class, and I would say Boomy right now is easily one of the better casters in the game. They just have so much CC with Cyclone, Root Beam, and then they have two versions of Incarn. It's just super, super strong. Boomies are doing very well actually right now, surprisingly. Again, it's kind of hard to put it in a certain spot because we know Demo's going to be insanely broken coming up. I've actually seen, and while I've been leveling, that they're doing a lot of damn now. So for now, I'm gonna put it behind Demo. Now that Demo's gotten 20% buffs on like everything, like on their imps, and it's just they're gonna be pumping. Like I just know for a fact they're gonna be really good. So we're just gonna keep it there for now. The next one we have is going to be DH. DH is, in my personal opinion, better than Fury, but like worse than the other ones. I feel like Arms and Destro and Ellie's and Boomies and even Demos are going to be just way better. DHs just struggle to stay alive. That's the problem with DHs. Sure, they have Blur and that's great, but like, other than that, they're kind of just dead. Like, I don't see them surviving in an Unholy DK or an Hunter or any of these specs. They're just going to be able to do so much pressure while you're just dead. You have nothing to really stop them from to do that. I just don't see DH being that great. Now, it does a lot of damage, that's great, but that's all it brings to the table. Like, its defensive cooldowns kind of just suck, other than Blur. That's like the only good cooldown they have. The next one we have is going to be Outlaw Rogue. Outlaw Rogue is in a very, very good spot as well. I would definitely say Outlaw is probably around. Again, it's kind of hard to say for certain, but I think Outlaw is actually really good, right? Now I don't think it's anywhere near like Assassination or the S tier. Obviously, I'd say it's high A, so it's actually close to the lower end of it. But Outlaw is really good. It did. I'm not sure if I'm pretty sure it got nerfed a little bit, but I'm pretty sure it still does a lot of damage. And it's really tanky. They actually buffed the amount of tankiness it is, so they're even more tanky, which is why they got buffed. People consider that a buff because they're harder to kill. So Outlaw Rogues are going to be in a pretty good spot. They're kind of how they always are. Usually they're semi-good. So yeah, if you're looking to play Outlaw, I'd much rather play Sub, but obviously we know Sub is just going to be garbage here coming up. The next one we have is going to be Survival Hunter. Survival Hunter kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I don't believe it's that good. You can make it work, but I see a Fury Warrior or a DH just like they're just gonna walk over a Survival Hunter. I just don't feel like Surv's. I mean, you can be a rank 1 Survival Hunter or even a good Survival Hunter, and you can still make it work. But like, you're just gonna lose to in 3v3 arena. Like, this is threes, this isn't solo shuffle. So I just don't see survival being that great. Maybe you could play Thug or something, but like, it's just not worth it. Just play like play MM or BM. They're just 10 times better. And then now we have BM Hunter. Um, I don't know where I want to put BM Hunter just yet because it did get buffed by 10%. So theoretically, BM Hunter should be better than MM, right? Like, if we think about it, so BM Hunter got buffed by 10, tenfold on everything. I honestly believe BM's was be broken. Like, they're gonna do a lot of damage and they're gonna do a lot of consistency. So it's not like an MM where they have a ton of burst. BM Hunters they're gonna be killing you the entire game. Like, jungle with a BM Hunter or like Cupid with a BM Hunter is just gonna be 10 times better. Just because you're killing everything, the entire game. So I believe BM is just gonna be insanely OP again. The next one we have is going to be Pharaoh Druid. Now, Pharaoh did get nerfs, unfortunately, so that automatically brings it down to, like, this level. I'd say Boomy, Demo, and Outlaw are just going to be a lot better overall after the Pharaoh nerfs. I mean, Pharaohs only are good because of the amount of burst they were able to put out. Now, in this type of meta, I just don't see a Pharaoh being able to survive. Like, I see an SS or an MM or any of these classes, they're just going to destroy a Pharaoh. They're going to do unhealable damage. So, Pharaoh Druid's still going to be good. You'll still see them, but they're going to be a lot more rare than the S tier specs up here. The next one we have is going to be Mistweaver. Easily A tier. I believe Restless Shaman's better than Mistweaver now after the buffs it's received with Earthen, I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100%, but people were talking about how Earthen actually does something now. So if that's the case, I'd actually love to play Restless Shaman again. So, talking about Restless Shaman, we'll put Restless Shaman above that. Now again, I have not seen enough to verify that, so I'm going to be putting it at high A. It's going to be the third best healer in my option, or in my opinion. So you guys will have to let me know, is Restless Shaman S tier now, or is it just A tier? I still believe Prez, H-Wow, and Disc are going to be the main healers, because they're just a lot better overall. Their utility, their overall healing is just better. But you guys can let me know. The next one we have is going to be Wrestler Druid. Wrestler Druid is in the same spot, to be honest. I don't believe it's Wrestler Shaman and Mistweaver are just better, but I feel like Wrestler now at this point. Actually, never mind. I'll retract my statement. The only reason I'm looking at it, any one of these classes up here, I just don't see a Wrestler being able to survive. Like so we can go from Arcane Mage to Pharaoh Druid or an Ellie. Every one of these classes will absolutely destroy a Resto. Even though Arms or Destro, all these specs up here past A tier, I just don't see a Resto Dude surviving. Like, every time I face a Resto Dude, I go the Resto Dude with stuns and he dies in like 2 goes. Because they just don't survive. And they just get their pots purged like instantly. It's not even worth playing it. Now, the only good thing about Resto Dude is it's Cyclones. So if you're good at Cycloning, you can easily make Resto Dude work. I had an 85% win-loss ratio at 2900. I almost got rank 1 on a different account because I knew how to cyclone. And it is the most fun thing to do is cycloning people, because in heart they're so mad because there's so much outplay to cyclone if you're actually good at using it, cloning people low, cloning people on defensives. There's just so much to a cyclone that makes it fun. Obviously, I wouldn't say Rest Druid's that great though. It's just going to get swapped to, and in this meta I don't see it surviving. The next one we're going to be going over is going to be Holy Priest. Same position. If you're just going to get out, you're going to get out. I see a Wrestler Druid easily being better than Holy Priest. Now, you can still carry a Holy Priest, like an RMP or something, but overall, Holy Priest is just, it doesn't have defensive cooldowns. Again, if you don't have defensive cooldown, there's nothing in the game that doesn't have a max defensive cooldown. Nothing. H-Files have Sack, they have Bop, they have Land Hands. Prez Evokers, they have that time dilation, and then they have that other thing like a wall. Every class has a to a damage reduction spell. Holy Priest has nothing. They have Angel for themselves, but they have nothing for their team. And that's why they'll continuously be bad until they do enough healing. If they doubled everyone's healing, then they'd be good again. That's how much healing they would need. But it's not going to happen. Again, Holy Priest has been bad for like 4 expansions. Since Shadowlands, pretty much. Shadowlands Season 2 or 3. The next one we have here, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be Sub Rogue. Sub Rogue is actually doing a lot better than it was. And I would say it's pretty solid at the moment. For now, I believe it's around Pharaoh Druid level. I think Outlaw is better, and I think Demo and Boomy's overall going to be better now that they've gotten buffed. Boomy's better. It's like Boomy's basically sub rogue, except it has two Shadow Blades, or you know what I'm saying. It has two versions of burst. Like how can you match a spec like that that has not only one incarn but two incarns with spammable Cyclone and Root Beam and Bash? Like you're talking about Boomies are the caster versions of Sub Rogue. That's the only reason I'm not putting it in front of it, because Boomies are going to be insane, and they are insane. They're very tiptoeing towards S tier. Very, very close. And I think Demo's going to be insanely OP as well. Same thing with Destro. But I can't say enough with Destro because I haven't actually seen him in the act. So, once the actual season starts, we'll know how strong it is once we have green gear and, I actually face it. But for now, we'll keep it at that. The next one we're going with is going to be Windwalker. Now, I know it received the nerfs. However, it only got nerfed on, like, by 20 or 30% with their one-shot ability. I'm pretty confident their burst overall is still insanely OP. So that being said, I believe they're still going to be really good. I believe in my heart, Windwalkers are still insanely strong. They're going to do a lot of burst damage. Now they might not be tanky, and that's always been the problem with Windwalkers. But even with the nerf on their one shot, I still believe they're going to do a ton of damage. They'll easily top damage. Usually Windwalkers, even now, even in season 1, they were topping damage. Although they weren't as great with their burst. They had an ability that basically one-shotted people for like 3.8 mil. So now it'll still do 1 mil, 1.5 mil, I'm pretty sure. So they're still really strong. I don't know why people are saying Windwalker's weak. They're really, really strong. Yeah, I mean, I understand they got nerfed on their one-shot ability, but like, come on. Just because that one-shot ability got nerfed does not mean the class is unplayable. Like, okay, let me get that out of the way. The next one we have is going to be Enhancement Shaman. Enhance is really not it anymore. Again, another spec. I can see you somehow making it work, but I just feel like in this type of meta, like everyone's a enhancement shaman. Like enhancement shamans were special because they were just reliant off their burst and procs, but like now everybody just one shots and PvEs. Like they just if they're a better PvEer than you are, then you lose. That's just how it is. So, like, you're going for AoE specs. Everything that's AoE on this list is high up for a reason. Because they're just hitting, you're clicking W and they're doing damage. The next one we have is going to be H-Pal. H-Pal, in my opinion, is still going to be the best healer. I still believe they're going to be really, really good. Now, they did lose out on the 2 bops, which is a massive nerf. So, Preds Evokers are still, they're going to hard counter H-Pals. But just because a class counters you does not mean it's better. It just is how it goes. So I still think H-Pal is going to be really insane, but it does get hard countered by like, Prez Evokers and really anything they can purge. Because it's like if they purge your bop for his global, it sucks. So H-Pal is still going to be really good though. They do a lot of healing. They're still easily one of the best healers. The next one we have is Frost Mage. Frost Mages are actually pretty strong as well. Now, I don't believe they're S tier just yet. I would say they're probably around here. So, better than Demo and Boomies and maybe Ellie's. But I think an MM Hunter will... Like, I've seen Aegis versus an MM Hunter, and he just got shred. Yeah, I see. I don't see it being S tier, but I see, like, Frost Outlaw being an insanely OP comp. But that's about it. So, Frost Mage still really good, still going to be one of the better options, especially in the A tier category. You're still seeing Frost Mages and Outlaw Rogues and Demo, Boomy, Sub, Feral. You'll see everyone in the A tier a pretty good amount. The only one that you won't see an insanely amount is like DH and like maybe Destro. But I think Destro will be better than Fury and DH. Actually, I think this is better. I think only because Destro is actually like harder to play. I don't think many people are gonna play it because it is a high skill cap quest. Mainly why I think it's Peekaboo's friend. He plays Destro that I've like destroyed every time I faced him. If you guys look at my past videos, he's the only person that plays it and he's like hard stuck 2300 every season. I had to get that out there because I haven't faced him in a long time, but free content. The next one we're going with is gonna be Ret Paladin. Ret Paladin is really, really fun. I actually plan on making one. I'm leveling one as we speak. Ret Paladins are going to be really good. Now, they did get nerfed. Like, that's why you're not seeing as many paladins as there were, but they're still popular. Um, I still see them being better than Sub and Pharaoh and Ali and the rest of these guys. I think Boomy is just going to be way better for CC. Demo is going to be overall stronger. Mage and Outlaw are just going to be overall better. But I haven't really seen much Rets. I don't know what happened to them all of a sudden, but I know they're really good still. Like, overall, you're still going to see Rets. Especially in threes. You know, Cupid, Ret Warrior. You're still going to see them. But mainly BM Ret is going to be like one of the strongest comps, or like MM Ret. It's just going to be really, really strong threes comp. The next one we have is Unholy DK. I'm not feeling too comfortable about Unholy DKs now, not gonna lie. I don't know enough to actually say if they're good or not. So for the meantime, I think they're still okay. I still think their bleeds are really good, and they can actually keep up the damage. And that's why they're at the end. So I'm hoping you guys understand what I mean when I say if they're closer towards here, it means they're not the best. They're still really good. They're still good. You can still do a lot of damage, and they're still pretty. You can easily win with it, but they're not the high end. Whoever's closer to the S tier, up here, like Outlaw, Frost, Demo, these guys right here are like closer to the S tier than the rest of them. Maybe Ellie. I think honestly Ellie's probably better than Pharaoh now. But and maybe Arms too, honestly. I don't think Pharaoh's that great anymore. Nah, I think Pharaoh overall is gonna be better in threes, cause like Pharaoh Arcane Mage is gonna be pretty OP. So we'll leave it at that. SPs are in a kind of bad spot. I'm not gonna lie. Even after the buffs for like Destro, I see SP being stronger than like DH and DK, but I don't feel like it's gonna be great. SP has just been that one spec that kind of just gets carried by like Assassination Rogues and like Affliction Warlocks. It's like or like maybe you can play Pharaoh SP, but even that wasn't that good. I just feel like SPs are kind of just like their burst is lackluster. If you understand what I'm saying, they're like an Affy Warlock's killing the entire team every hunt by themselves. Like if an SP had the damage that an Affy would do, the game would be like they have so much CC that it's like if they gave SP the amount of damage that Affy's got, SPs will be the best back in the game. Unfortunately, SP is not going to be that great. I mean, you're still going to see them, but I just don't see them being played that often. They're just not that good, but they're still good, if you know what I'm saying. They're low A, so it means they're playable. You're going to see them a lot, but they're not like, it's kind of like an off meta type spec. The next one we have is Disc Priest. Now, again, I don't know. I don't know enough information to actually say if it's here or here. Now, you guys let me know, is WrestleSham, is it supposed to be in this order? Does this look better? I know I've heard Knowledge say that WrestleShams are really good, but like, I just don't believe, like, I don't know. I didn't feel like they got a huge buff. I still feel like Disc will be overall better, but again, you guys will have to let me know. Obviously, I don't get everything right, because there's some things I don't see. I can't see every class. I just based off what I think that I know. Especially if I know the nerfs and buffs. Because I've played so much threes that I know what's good and what's not. Especially as the buffs go in. The next one we have is Augmentation. Absolutely garbage. Augmentation is the worst class or spec in the entire game. I'd say Fire Mage is better. Enhance better. And honestly, for Enhancement Shaman, just to be generous, we can put it here. Because I believe Enhancement Shamans are still good. But it's just really hard to make them work. Like, you need to play, like, Frost, DK, Enhancement Shaman. Like, you play that comp and you're gonna win games. Or Enhancement Windwalker. Those are gonna be your big dogs. I've even heard Assassination Enhance is actually, I mean, I know it's, like, just one team that plays it. But, just to be generous with Enhancement Shaman, even though it's the last on the A tier list, do we believe that it's strong enough to deserve the spot even at the end? I think it does. I think it deserves it. So, this is my 3v3 tier list, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you guys want to see next. The season is coming soon. Let me know what you guys want to watch. Should we get some guides out there for the new sub rogue? Or what you guys want to see? But, I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, peace.